Warner Hopkins.
Hello, hello.
And we're going to review lists for the Mayhem in the Mountains GT, starting with Josh Gurin's Beast Herds.
So first off, we have the Beast Lord. He's got the +1 strength, +1 AP weapon, just something a little minor. 4 fortitude save and resilience 6. Potion of swiftness pushes his agility up to 8, and the crown of horns just makes him a little better.
Yeah, it gives him the primal instinct
Yep.
rerolls, and primal instinct is really important for beastmen. So
And he's on the Razor Tusk Chariot as well.
Yeah, so he wants to be in the middle of everything and charging in as support is what I would use him as, at least. Alright, next we have the BSB Minotaur. This guy is kind of crazy because if you look at the rest of his list, he's got giant Minotaur blocks.
But he's got the supernatural dexterity, which increases his attacks, offensive skill, and agility. So he's pretty good in close combat. But he's really just relying on his resilience for survival. He can push his resilience with wild form up to 6 or down to a 4 and gain some additional strength and AP. It really lets him modify how he wants to play based on the situation. He is a BSB, as Cody mentioned, and he's got the Flaming Standard. No alchemy in this list, but between certain things being flammable and the fortitude saves, it's not a terrible option.
I can think of a couple good targets for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he brings a Wizard Master Soothsayer on Druidism. So he can heal up Minotaurs, resurrect Minotaurs, all the nasty things you can do with Druidism. Give him toughness, 7? With an enhanced stone skin?
Oh yeah, it's kind of crazy. And he kind of built this guy as a little bit bonus caster with the bonus channel on him. But then he put him on a raiding chariot, and he's got a couple other items, both a sword and an armor enchantment, which make him a little bit better in close combat than a standard wizard master. So he's pushing his resilience up to 5, 4 wounds, and he's got a 4-up armor.
Yeah.
And then in close combat, he's got the 3 attacks, strength 5, AP 2. So he's quite. Oh, and he's also got distracting. And successful 2 wound rolls against him have to be re-rolled. So he's a lot better defensively than you would expect on a Wizard Master on a chariot. That said, he is on a chariot, so he's going to be hoping not to play any War Machine lists.
And then we've got, going into core, we've got a wild horn herd. This is just a 15 model strong musician standard bearer, and it's just there to either ambush if needed, or just have a place to, long range chaff, charge target, that kind of thing.
Yep, and he's wrapping up his core with 2 units of raiding chariots, 3 each. What can you say? They're just fast semi-fast chariots that do a lot of impact hits. So then we get to the interesting part of the list.
Yeah, it's pretty beefy in this part of the list.
Moo. He's got 2 units of 7 Minotaurs. That's a lot of wounds. That's a lot of attacks. That's a lot of strength. Both units have a champion with a totem bearer, and one of the units has the rending banner. Should push that unit up to AP 3.
Yeah.
In case you don't know, the Blackwing totem that they both have is a bound spell for 8, and it gives the unit that that has the totem +3 agility and plus D3 +1 charge range. So that would push these units up to agility 6.
And 7 on the charge.
7 on the charge.
Which Minotaur striking first is always scary.
Yep. These guys are just typical Minotaurs. Resilience 4, 3 wounds.
Yeah.
Basically no save. So offensively, they're very good. Defensively, not so much. But if they can get those bounce spells off, watch out.
And then round out the list with a couple units of probably one of the best chaff units in the game, looking at them.
Yep.
Gargoyles, they fly 18, 918. They have hard target skirmished. And they have, what, resilience 4 with 1 wound each?
Correct. And assuming Army Builder is correct, they have devastating charge, which would make them 2 attacks at strength 4, AP 1.
Yeah.
And then I think that we also forgot a smaller unit of 5 Minotaurs.
Oh yeah, it's down there.
So.
Yeah, 3 units of Minotaurs, 2 units of Chariots, 2 Gargoyle units, an ambushing Wildhorn herd, and a few characters.
Yeah, so 8 Chariots, 20 Minotaurs. That's pretty much the list.
All right.
And I think it's pretty good. It's going to have struggle against some armies, but it is going to be fast. So watch out. It's coming for you.
I think that wraps up this army pretty good. It's actually my first round opponent, and I played Josh last year in the first round as well, and we had a great game. So I'm really looking forward to this game.
All right. Well, that's the solo Beastmen herds. Stay tuned. All right, and next up we have Kurt Armstrong's Dark Elf list, which is kind of interesting. We've got a Fleet Commander General, and the only reason why he's taking this is to gain access to the Kraken Hide, which is a +2 armor save when you are on foot. That pushes him down to a 1-up. He's got a Death Cheater for a 4-up Fortitude save. And he's got the +3 Strength magic weapon. So 4 attacks, Strength 7, but only AP 1. Then he's got a Captain BSB, same Fleet Commander. Pushes him down to a 2-up and a 1-time reroll. In addition, he's got the Shield Enchantment, which gives him Distracting.
And then we've got an Assassin. I think he can go in any of the units.
Yep.
And yeah, he's got 4 attacks at strength 7 or 8.
No, that's weapon skill.
Weapon skill 8, strength 4.
But he has the Bloodroot poison, which pushes him up to strength 5, AP 3, and multiple wounds 2 against characters. In addition, he's an assassin, so he can make way even if he's already in combat, which is really cool. So don't know where he's going. The 2 other characters don't know where they're going. One special thing is that there's no wizard in this list. We'll get to how he's using magic later. For his core, he's got the 3 units of spearmen, 2 larger ones, 26, 24, not super large. Both of those have the Rending Banner. So in combat to the front, they're going to be pretty mean. Don't charge them with knights. And then for magic, you want to go ahead with that?
Yeah, we've got 2 units of Dark Acolytes. One of them is marked with the Cult of Yema, and that gives them access to Pentagram of Pain, Breath of Corruption, or the Grave Calls. Pick 2 of those ones. And the other one has access to 3 different spells with Altered Sight, Ice and Fire, or Crippling Fatigue. Pick 2 of those 3.
Appearance of fitness.
Okay, and then he's got a single Medusa, and I really like those guys. They're not crazy, but it's pretty dang good chaff for only 130 points. And he's got the some Raven cloaks, which are scout. So war machine hunting, chaff hunting, and that's pretty much the list, right?
Yeah, then he's just got 3 Hydras.
Oh, right. So Hydra's doing Hydra things. They've got the breath weapon, 4-up armor, 4-up fortitude, stomp, terror. Pretty nasty.
The basic monster mash part of this list.
Yep, just no characters on monsters, and special thing about the list, besides 3 Hydras, is no wizard, getting all the spells from the wizard conclaves, which is kind of cool. But 6 wounds, 4-up wards on those units. Tough 3, so I mean, Massed Fire might be able to do some major work against them. But anyway.
I kind of like this list. If you're bringing a monster mash, this is a fun way to try to get it done.
Yeah, it's kind of like a midpoint between
a
monster mash and the infantry list.
Yeah.
We'll see. He doesn't have a whole lot of shooting, so he's going to try to get into combat.
All right.
Anyway, Kurt Armstrong's Dark Elves.
All right, this is Neil Hamilton's Dread Elves. It seems like a pretty standard army to come against. Let's get into it.
We've got a Oracle Wizard Master on Witchcraft. He's got the Wandering Familiar, which is a pretty cool ability. Little upgrade that he can take, which allows him to basically place a little model and then use that model's line of sight. So he can do stuff in different angles or behind him, or this guy can be hiding behind a building or a hill and still cast spells. It's a pretty neat little ability. Then he's also got the Binding Scroll, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. He's got a Cult Priest BSB. Can't really figure out exactly where he's going to be going, but it's pretty cheap BSB.
He does have a repeater crossbow, so
yeah. So I'd expect him to join a bunker shooting unit of some sort. A couple units of Dark Raiders. Pretty good. Fast chaff.
And he also upgraded them with repeater crossbows. So
more shooting.
Yep.
He's got a fairly large unit of spearmen for elves, 28 of them, with the Rending Banner. Don't charge him with knights. In the front.
Yeah, that's in the flank, yeah, not in the front. And more shooting with the unit of 10 repeater auxiliaries. Small fill-out core scoring unit that's probably can hurt chaff pretty hard, actually.
Yeah. Good little ranged unit. He's got a unit of 17 executioners, or rather dread judges. Executioner's blade is pretty cool. Counts as a great weapon, but it gives multiple wounds 2 against characters, and lethal strike. So they can cut through armor on the roll of a 6 to wound.
And remember their lightning reflexes, though, swinging at agility 5.
Oh, yep.
Which is kind of cool. And then he brought some heavy cav and some dread knights. 2-up armor save knights. They also have the Banner of Blood, which gives the riders devastating charge +1 attack. So on the charge, each of these models will do 2 strength 5 hits and 2 strength 4 hits. Strength 6 hits.
2 strength 6 with the lance.
Yeah, strength 6 hits.
And then the 2 strength 4 from the raptors. Yeah. They're deceptively strong on the charge.
Yeah,
they can put out a lot for only 6 models.
And they also have Killer Instinct to reroll ones when you're rolling the wound as well.
Yep. And with strength 6.
Yeah.
He's got 1 Medusa, Chaff. I really like those guys for the points. 3 individual Raptor Chariots. So there's a lot of counter charge or using them as chaff. Really pretty situational. You can use them a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I'm scared of their threat range, so their area of effect on the battlefield is kind of large.
Yep.
It's just, will they actually do it or not? And we got
Depends
scouts.
on their rolls.
Yeah, depends on the rolls.
Yeah.
Then we got 2 units and 9 scouts. I could see the BSB joining one of these units as well, and then they'd lose scout, but still have this maneuverability.
Yep. Or run up and join them first turn.
Yeah.
They're not great in combat, which the Cult Priest helps buff, but I mean, scouting shooters, they're still pretty good. Yeah. And then he's got 3 Dread Reapers, which are the bolt throwers. So this army has a lot of small shooting.
Yep.
And then the bolt throwers can do the large single shot also. If they come up against the monster stuff.
Yeah, I'd say this list takes a bit of everything. It's got fighting potential, it's got a little more shooting than the other 2, but it's also got some magic happening too with the witchcraft.
Mm-hmm. And witchcraft is a lot of debuffs, some buffs, but not really. He's not going to blast you out off the board with magic.
Yeah. All right, well that rounds up Neil Hamilton's Dread Elves. Got anything else, Warner?
Nope.
All right. On to the next one. All right, on to the Dwarven Holds. We have Johanna Goss's list. What's the general like, Warner?
We have a scary general mounted on the shield bearers. 4 attacks, strength 6, AP 3. But they do D3 wounds each. In addition, the strength and AP can go up by 1 when charging. Pretty scary general, if you ask me. Then
kill just about anything.
Yeah. Resilience 5, 1-up armor, and the shield wall Aegis. The Thane BSB.
He has got a hold stone, which
and
is a cool item.
Yes, so that makes his unit that he joins very tanky. Then he's got the breath weapon, which is pretty nice also.
Yeah, the Rune of Dragon's Breath.
Yeah.
Good one. I think
And any wounds that are successful against him must be re-rolled as well. So even though he may not have the best saves, he's pretty tanky with Resilience 5, and anything that wounds him must be re-rolled.
He does have a 3-up armor save and the shield wall Aegis as well.
Yeah.
He's dwarven tough.
Yeah. And then we've got the Runic Smith, which is their version of a wizard. Rune of Devouring. So you get to use a spell once and then he eats it.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. Eats the Rune of Devouring too. That's a 1 use only, but still.
Hey, I never want that thing to happen to me again. Then it won't.
Then it won't. Greybeards, they get the banner of making it harder to charge them, which is pretty neat.
What are these guys armed with? Just hand weapons?
Yeah. Hand weapon shield, so shield wall. Unit of handgunners.
These handgunners also have shield wall. Handgunners with a 4-up armor save and if possible 5-up ward if you charge them.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting.
They're pretty good for archers. They are pretty expensive too, though. 14 of them for almost 400 points.
Yeah.
A small unit of clan warriors.
It's nice to have the scoring chaff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're tough enough between parry and shield wall and sturdy that, and throwing weapons, that they can take out a lot of chaff, or be a pretty decent flanker. Deep Watch, this is the dwarves' anvil. If you charge them, they're not going anywhere. This is probably where all the characters are going.
I could see the Smith or the BSB joined into the Greybeards, but other than that, these guys do have bodyguard.
Yeah, maybe the clan warriors might be a little back unit for the runic smith, which then he just uses as his bunker.
That could also work. Yep.
But
yeah, this unit isn't going anywhere.
No. You're going to be killing all of them before they break, it seems like, a lot of the time. And good luck with that.
Then there's a Grudge Buster,
which is the flying tank chariot.
Yeah, 3d3 grinding attacks and d6+1 impact hits. So this thing, it also has Swift Stride for what that's worth too, so it can chase things down better than your average dwarf.
Yeah, it's a flying chariot, so it's pretty good. 2 steam copters with bombs. They'll have Swift Stride as well, so they might countercharge something that's already in combat that might give them the victory and then run you down.
And we get to some fun models, the Vengeance Seekers. These things are nuts.
They've got a handful of rules. So their whirling chains of doom push them up to strength 5, AP 2 on their 5 attacks, and they strike at initiative 10. So same time as impact hits. They are distracting, hard target. When they charge, they get some extra range.
And they always, that's only when they're charging larger gigantic things.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is, there's still a lot of like large and gigantic things at this tournament, so I think it's going to come in handy. It also has the You're Coming With Me, which makes them always wound on a 4 better at worst. And they do a death attack when they die as well. So they'll always get at least 1 swing in.
Then they got the 2 pieces of cannons.
Yep.
2 artillery. It's pretty...
Did I lose it? I like the dwarven cannon crews that are stubborn. And we lost Warner for now, but I'll get him back for the next one. On to the next.
All right, next we have Billy Smith with his Demonic Legions. We've got a Kaluma's Deceiver, Wizard Adept with Protein Magic. So he's got access to 5 different spells between the Hereditary and then the #1 spells from Divination, which is plus or minus weapon skill, Evocation, which is reroll to wound, and potential for lethal strike, Thaumaturgy, which is d6 hits, d6 strength, and Witchcraft, which is a movement spell. He's got Venom Sacs for him and his unit, and one of the big things about the Kalumi Deceiver is that however many models he's touching, he gets to copy their attack value characteristic. So he's only got 1 attack base, but he gets to copy attacks. So if he's fighting 3 models and they all have 2 attacks each, he winds up with 7 attacks.
That's pretty beefy with his strength 5 AP 2.
Yep, and he's pretty fast with agility 5, particularly if he's going into one of the units that we'll touch on later.
And then we have the monster character, the Miser of Sugalag.
Yep, chariot base size.
100 by 50 by 100. He also takes fewer hits from multi-wound models, so he's more resistant to cannons than you might think.
Yeah, so if a cannon does him 3 wounds, he only takes 2. Cannon does him 4, he only takes 2.
He's also Wizard Adept, choosing spells from the Path of Divination. And he's a pretty good fighter with 5 attacks at strength 5 AP 2.
And he's got a breath weapon in addition to that.
It's also AP 2, which is scary.
Yeah. And this is one of my favorite rules out there in general, is the Abyssal Armor, which is counts as plate, so he's got a 4-up armor. But then any attacks directed at him lose 1 AP for each Veil token that he has in his pool. So if you hit him with an attack with AP 3, if he's got 2 tokens in his pool, it's only AP 1, which would then give him essentially a 5-up, 5-up. I think it's a really neat ability.
That's pretty cool. Then there's the Harbinger of Chaos, BSB. Nothing incredibly special here, except that he's got Venom Sacs as well.
Yep.
So his unit will have poisonous attacks.
And that Venom Sacs does stack. So if you have 2 instances of it, it can go up to a 5-up to poison, which is pretty neat. Lemurs, for core, their big claim to fame is Resilience 5.
Yeah, they still got just like all these demons, they've got the 5-up Aegis and Supernal for losing combat.
And they all count as beasts.
Oh yeah, so
they get Swift Stride, which is really cool. So he's got 2 Lemur units, one of 19, with Chilling Yawn, which I believe is -3 agility for any unit that's attacking them. The other Lemur unit is 24 guys, and they have poison Venom Sacs themselves. So probably at least one of those characters is going to be joining this Lemur unit to give them poison on a 5.
Yep, the bigger unit, I think he stopped at 24 models solely because the points value is 666.
How about that? Next unit, Mage Blight Gremlins. These are anti-magic units. They're really cool. They have ambush, but their ambush is different than normal. If you don't know what it is, then instead of coming on a table edge, they can come on, I believe, within 6 inches of an enemy spellcaster.
I think it's like an enemy model with channel or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And then they have another special rule which gives them bonus combat res based on the number of spells that are known by models within the unit that they're fighting. And I don't think there's a limit on that. I think that can go up as high as many spells as you have.
You got 10 spells.
If you have a wizard bunker with like 3 wizards in there, don't let these guys fight you, because you're going to have like +8 combat res. They also have poison attacks from Venom Sacs, which is pretty cool with their 5 attacks per base. Hope Harvester is a war platform, so it can join units. Don't know where it's going, don't know if it's going to be by itself, but it shoots. So it's, what is that again, Cody?
It does the ether battery, so it hits on a 3+, and the ether battery.
Sorry, we're scrolling to it. All right, it's a volley gun, range 18 inches, shots 2d6 times 2, and you can discard veil tokens for an additional 3 shots per veil token. You can discard up to 3 veil tokens. So in theory, it would be 2d6 times 2 plus 9. Strength.
A lot of shots.
Yeah, strength 4, AP 1. So it's pretty cool. Additionally, it's got the segmented shell, which I believe takes 1 less wound from multiple wound things. So if you do 2 wounds with D3 wounds, it only takes 1. You do 3 wounds, it only takes 2.
I think that also works for like multiple wounds 2 instead of D3. You're just like, oh no, multiple wounds 1 now.
Yep. I believe it does. So that's a neat unit.
Yeah, and then the brazen beasts. These are big brass bulls.
Brass balls. Brass bulls. They are nothing special if you're able to charge them. If they charge you, then the riders get +2 attacks, +2 strength, +2 AP. So instead of 1 attack at strength 3, AP 0, if you were to charge them, they get 3 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, in addition to 2 impact hits from their beasts. Additionally, all these guys have battle focus.
Including the beasts.
Yes, including the beasts. So they are rough if they're charging you. But defensively, resilience 4, 5 up Aegis. Nothing crazy. 4 wounds apiece, though.
Then we got 2 units of flying chaff for demons, although these ones fly as fast as anybody. They go 20 inches.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward.
Demonic chaff, yep. I guess on the charge, they do go up to 1 attack at strength 5.
Yeah, it doesn't get
and they have poison. Well, one of them has poison, one of them has kaleidoscope flesh, I believe is hard target.
Yep. Or distracting. Maybe it's just
no, it's hard. It's hard target. It's and the unit normally has hard target as well, so it goes down to a hard target too for one of the units.
Hard to clear that chaff.
Yeah, with shooting here. And then bloat flies.
Oh, cool. They also have hard target because of kaleidoscopic flash, I think.
Yeah.
And they're slow flyers, but they still fly.
Yep. March 12 with flying. Yep. And if they're on the ground, they're slow as shit. 2 move, 4 march.
These ones also has a fortitude save instead of just an Aegis save.
They have both, yeah.
And the reason for that is they have acid blood. That is, if they fail a fortitude save,
they pass.
If they fail
it fails, my bad.
It splashes them with acid, and they do a hit in return. And so if you ignore the fortitude save, then they still have the Aegis to back it up. But they would rather be taking fortitude saves.
Yep. Resilience 4, 4 wounds apiece, with a 5 up save regardless.
And it also bears mentioning that the bloat flies and the brazen beasts also cause fear, along with the Hope Harvester and the Sugalug, but he causes terror just because he's a giant.
Just because.
Yeah.
He's big.
So, I don't know. What do you think about this list?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't seen it in action enough, and I haven't...
It's all theory at this point. I haven't played against them.
Yeah.
That said, they've got some good characters. Their resilience 5 on their core block is very strong. And they've got a bunch of little things that
They fulfill
can...
good roles, though, right? Like
They do.
especially the wizard hunters, the mage blight gremlins, and you got the flying chaff, and you got a little bit of shooting in the hope harvester. So,
Mhm.
like, there's one target. That thing's pretty good at shooting one target.
Yep.
I don't know. I
how
think
it's
I
going
would
to
have
go on the
I would have a
battlefield,
fun
but
time playing against this list.
yeah, see what it's really capable of.
I can't wait to see what the models look like too.
Right. All right. Well, that's Billy Smith's Demon Legions. And next, we're getting into the High Elf lists. We have John Spelz with his Highborn Elves list, and he is actually joining us on the call.
Yes, hello.
So, first off, we've got a High Prince on a Griffin with a bunch of protection items.
Right.
So he's got the Ghostly Guard for +2 armor versus non-magical. +2 Aegis save combined with his Dragon Forged armor pushes him down to a 4-up Aegis with a 2-up versus flaming, and he has hard target 1. This is a hell of a cowboy.
Right. Yeah. So he's kind of just like he can go on little missions. Some units he has the ability to knock them out. Other times, really, he's good obviously for assisting in a major combat. But I really like having this model because he gives me a reach that I don't have otherwise with the way that the rest of the list is set up.
Right.
And I think that's really it has, in the games I've played with him, it's proven to be really important to have that. And it just feels good using him. I love it. He flies around. He's my little knight in shining armor.
Absolutely. Having that little piece that's so maneuverable and just can do so much. I mean, if you need to charge big units, he can, and then he'll hold them in place for a while, hopefully.
Right, and being immune to fire is also kind of nifty as well. Makes it so that Quicksilver Lash isn't a factor, which is nice.
Yeah, there's not really too many alchemy lists. I think we've seen it once so far. That was on the Empire list. But I know there's at least one more. Next, we have the Asfat Scholar Mage, Wizard Master.
The Asfat Scholar.
He's fat.
That's right.
3-up ward with a little bit of extra range and the Drain Magic Bound spell brought in. He's on Divination, and he has a specialty bonus casting. The Book of Miladies. The bearer may reroll a single magic dice when making a casting roll once per phase, right?
Yeah, once per friendly magic phase. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, he's fun. I mean, I found for Highborns, I like Divination a lot, and I think it works well for me anyway. And obviously Divination just has great magic missiles versus gigantic, or not gigantic in general, but just monsters, high resilience targets, things like that. So,
yep. Next, we got the BSB, Master of Canrig Tower, with the bonus casting for the +2 to cast on his first casting attempt in each phase. And he's got 3 of the 5 spells that he has access to: Alchemy, Cosmology, Druidism, Shamanism, and Witchcraft. In addition, he uses the Druidism attribute for all of his spells. He knows 3. So he gives a great variety of spells. And if he's only casting 1 a turn, then it's at the +2, which is very nice.
Yeah, I like the versatility in the magic phase. I think is a strength for any army. And when you have a model that can pick its spells like that from so many different lores,
right.
Even if it is only the first spell of each lore, I think he's in terms of just Highborn lists, I think he's just almost an auto include. It's just such a great model.
Yep.
Not
he
many
covers
armies.
so much stuff because he's the BSB in addition to that.
That's right.
And he's a decent fighter at the same time.
Well, let's not have too many assumptions about his combat ability. You know
I
what?
said
Actually,
decent.
Warner, I like the way you put it. Anyone listening, he's an absolute monster in combat. You don't want to fight him. All right, moving on. He's too powerful. All right.
Another one of these spear units.
With the
30
rending
spear
banner.
elves with the rending banner.
Oh.
It's a lot of different armies are taking something very similar to that. It's a good unit.
Yeah, I mean, Spearman, gotta love him.
Yeah, spears are awesome right now in this edition. We've got 2 units of fast cav. Not much more to say. They're really good at doing fast cav stuff.
Gotta have him. Yeah.
5 highborn lancers. These are the elven heavy cavalry.
Right.
2 up save, strength 5 on the charge. They're pretty good. They also score and they're fast. So
that's kind of what it comes down to, Warner. Really,
Yep.
they score and they're fast. There you go.
Yep, and they're tough to kill.
Yeah, they got armor. So
24 flame wardens with the rending banner. These guys are the anvil of this list. Between the 4 up Aegis save and defensive skill 5, they're really good. On offense, 1 strength 4, AP 1, but the rending banner makes them AP 2. So you don't see these guys going off the board very quickly.
No, they'll stick around.
Yep, they'll stick around for forever.
Yeah, Flame Wardens just, everyone knows they're solid, and they're just it's a good choice if you're trying to have a unit that sticks.
Absolutely. Queensguard are the elite shooters. They shoot. They need a 2-up to hit. And then I'm not familiar with the Moonlight Arrows, John.
Moonlight Arrows. It's strength 4, AP 1, flaming and magical.
Yeah.
The flaming magical is what makes it the Moonlight Arrow, I guess.
Yeah, strength 4 is what does it for me. They're really good.
Strength 4, 30
hitting on
inch
2s
range.
with strength 4. Yep.
Right. No, just solid. Love them. They're vulnerable, but if you use them well and you keep them out of harm's way, they can put out a ton of damage.
Right. They do score as well, so they're pretty handy. And then to wrap up the list, we've got 3 bolt throwers.
Yeah.
So
Solid.
initial thoughts is it's a pretty shooty list between the magic, light shooting, and reapers.
On the Queensguard too.
Yep. And a few extra shots from the reavers. So it's a counterpunching, primarily shooting counterpunching.
Yeah, definitely.
It will require a lot of finesse to use, but hopefully John pulls it around and does well.
Yeah, I mean, let's make no mistake. When we look at this list, I think it's on everyone's mind that it's probably one of the most not only elite bit lists, but one of the most high skill to use lists. I mean, you really got to be number 1 skill level when it comes to using it.
Now, that said, you make one mistake and you're screwed.
Oh yeah, no, it's not fragile exactly, but it's very intricate in how it works, and there's not a lot of room for making dumb mistakes.
I'd say it's not user friendly.
No.
It's definitely not a forgiving. You gotta be on top of it. If you make a small mistake, it can be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really just you gotta be on top of your positioning and stuff. But it can work for sure, and I enjoy playing it. So
absolutely,
let's see how it goes.
High skill cap, high reward. All right,
That's right,
John
that's
Spelz,
right.
Highborn Elves.
All right, next up we have Ryan Dorsey, also playing Highborn Elves. He's got a little bit of a different list, although there are a lot of similarities to the last Highborn list, my own list that we went over last. So
Besides just being Highborn elves.
you're right, a little bit, yeah. So he does all. So he has a mage, wizard master. He's taking cosmology, and he's got the gleaming robe, 3-up ages item. And he's got a binding scroll. So he's taken that magical protection. Wants to make sure that he has a phase where he kind of has a lot of more control over what happens there. So that's good. So yeah, moving on. Commander with the Canrig Tower. This one has Destiny's Call and an Obsidian Rock. So 4-up ages, 4-up armor, and then MR2 for the unit. And so he's, that to me that says he's trying to make it a little more resilient for close combat.
Yeah, he's also got the taking advantage of the great weapon with the lightning reflexes.
Oh yeah. So he is indeed. Okay, so that's cool. Unit of 20 spears. So minimum unit size spear, full command. The War Banner of Rima, that's the +1 strength on the charge banner. And infantry models get devastating charge +1 advance. So it's like they're charging on a 6.
Which doesn't make quite as much sense as some other banners, in my opinion, just because of the you don't necessarily want these guys charging because they get the bonuses from the spears when they are charged. But I guess it's a little bonus, so he's getting a bonus if he's charging or a bonus if he's being charged.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. One unit of Reavers, no bows, just light, stock Reavers, obviously just a speed bump unit here. And then to complete the core, he has a unit of 30 Sea Guard, also with the War Banner of Rima, to give them the aggressive option.
Yep.
It's not a bad play, especially when you got agility high like elves do.
Yeah, but this one, again, is kind of weird because it's on the Sea Guard. They have bows, so they want to shoot, not charge. Yeah. I mean, Sea Guard are great. They spearmen that also have bows, great agility. I don't know. In my opinion, I'd rather see a Rending Banner instead of the War Banner, but to each their own. Next up, we've got a unit of 15 Flame Wardens with the Rending Banner. So we've got 9 less than John brought, but it's still a great unit. It's not going to go anywhere unless you pretty much kill them all or beat them with a lot of res.
I do take issue with only 15. I think 15 is obviously any amount of Flame Wardens isn't bad. I'm concerned that they're going to take 1 wound before combat, and then they're going to have just the 1 rank. I'm just concerned that they can get pushed off from static res.
Yep.
Certain units. I mean, not to say that 24 can't, but
much more slowly.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is. But that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. We've got the 1 Great Eagle, which is some of the best chaff in the game.
Yes.
1 unit of 3 Reaver Chariots, so that'll be a hell of a counter charge. Similar unit, we've got. Sorry?
3d6 impact hits when those things charge, so
yep.
That's kind of nice.
It is tasty.
And 310 points. It's very cheap. Very cheap.
Yep. 14 Queen's Guard.
Right.
They're great. They are expensive, but they are really good. Yeah. Again, 3 Reapers, similar to the John's list. And we have a Phoenix, a Fire Phoenix, instead of the Griffin character that John brought. So kind of similar elements, a slightly different way of approaching it, but a pretty standard shooty countercharge high elf list.
Yeah, I think Ryan wanted to be a little bit more aggressive. This feels a little more aggressive with the War Banners of Rima on the Spearman units.
Yes, it seems like he wants to charge a little bit more than John does. No offense.
I don't know if that's
It's all right.
a good thing or not. It's John with
Right.
defensive.
Between the 3 Reapers, the Queen's Guard, and the Sea Guard, there's a lot of shooting, and it's kind of wanting to get into combat, but also wanting to shoot.
I think he's
Well,
It's all about the balance.
I think he's got options, which is nice. Having the ability to charge and do a bunch of strength 4 is, pretty cool for sure. And, he also has Canrig Tower, and he's taking Cosmology. That's access to 2 different strength spells. When you're running Cosmology like that, that's definitely a thing you can do. So I think it's definitely, I like the Sea Guard and stuff. For me, this list I don't like the Phoenix at all. I never have liked Phoenixes. I just don't think that it does enough for how much it costs.
Yes.
Obviously, that's kind of basic summary, but
If there's
I don't know.
something it can thunderstop, it's pretty good against those. So
Well, it's also the sweeping attacks. So, I mean, if he's able to sweep attack a Goblin unit or a Spearman unit or any of the block undead units and just take out,
it's really strong. It's like a
quarter of
flamethrower.
it. Yeah.
It's like a flamethrower. Yeah.
Then that could be a huge advantage, even if it never sees combat.
That's the thing, though, for me, right? It's a monster with the sweep attack thing. So, you're
Again, it's like struggling with identity crisis. It doesn't know what it wants to do.
Yes.
But I mean, high elf players, high skill cap, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I can't wait to see it on the table. That's for damn
Yeah,
sure.
same.
I like Ryan's stuff.
All right, Ryan Dorsey, Highborn Elves. And next we have Joseph Abel with his Infernal Dwarves. He's got a Wizard Master with the Essence of the Free Mind between Alchemy and Pyromancy. And flaming stuff. And the Binding Scroll as well for that one time don't use that spell.
Yep.
I really like those 2 lures, being able to choose between Armor Pen or just a lot of little hits.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty straight up good wizard general, and he doesn't really cost that much either. So that's good.
Yep, you get a Wizard Master for under 600 points. It's not bad. He's not awful either in combat. Resilience 5 with a 4-up save. Not that offensive, but
well, the essence
he shouldn't see combat.
Yeah, he's got essence, so he has abilities to. I love that versatility. That's a really great item.
Yeah, being able to choose your spells before the game.
Yeah.
Between different lures, being able to customize. Next, we've got the BSB, Icon of Inferno, which throws the little pyromancy attribute blaze whenever the Wizard Master casts a spell if he's within 12 of the BSB. Additionally, he's got the Magic Resistance 2 Obsidian Rock, so that'll help the bunker stay safe.
And both these characters are Chosen of Asheruk, which means they can join Chosen of Asheruk units.
Yep.
And so they're probably going in the Citadel Guard.
Yeah, I would guess.
I would guess too. Well, I guess. Couple of Hobgoblin Chieftains as his chaff. I really like these guys. 130 points. The only problem with them is only 2 HP. Toughness 4 with a 4-up armor.
Yeah.
You throw enough shots into them, they will go down. But I guess you could say the same of any chaff.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with those guys for sure. 2 wounds. I feel like I don't know if I would ever run those because that's there's no room for anything happening. Peasants could spit on them and they would die.
Something is to be said, though. It's only a single cavalry base, so they can
True.
get into places that a larger chaff unit couldn't go,
That's
generally.
Right.
Anyway, on to core. We've got Citadel Guard. I really like these guys. They've got the Flintlock Axe, which is Strength 4, AP 2 shooting. Is that 24-inch range?
18-inch, and then they can move and shoot, so effectively 21-inch range, threat range from the unit, that is.
Gotcha. And then it counts sort of like a halberd in close combat. Takes 2 hands and gives you +1 strength. It does not have the +1 AP, though.
Yeah.
Also, since it counts as a 2-handed weapon, they lose their shield armor and their shield parry in combat.
Right.
So,
No, it's a solid unit. You see them a lot in pretty much every Infernal army,
Yep.
and it's for good reasons, because they're a solid unit.
they are very solid. They're very good.
Edict
They are
Book
pretty
was
expensive,
good,
though.
too.
650
Yeah.
points for 20 guys. Not as bad as some other armies, but they're getting up there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next is what might be my favorite unit in this army. I know how dumb that sounds, but
Greenskin
I'm
bias.
I'm a big fan of greenskins.
You guys hear this?
Hobgoblins. All right, so they are Green Guard. They've got a bow, light armor, and a shield. So they're nothing special, but being able to shoot, score, have parry, and a 5-up armor saving combat, they do a little bit of everything for only 10 points a model.
They also have Opportunist, which means if they go into the flank or rear, they're doing stuff as opposed to just being another body. They're actually doing a little more.
I believe that's reroll to wound.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So he's got 2 units of those.
Warner, as a greenskin player, we all know anything goblin. I think it's automatic that you fall in love with this, right?
Yeah. All right.
Now for
Who's
the
doing
beef.
the anointed?
The massive bull centaurs, Tarok Anointed.
Oh my god, yeah.
900 points a unit for 6 models. They better be good.
Well, they do have 3 wounds apiece and resilience 5 with a 3-up armor save, and push that to a 2-up when they charge.
Large cavalry, 14-inch march, 7-inch move. Let's see. Infernal weapons give them strength 6, AP 3.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. I mean,
And they've got the banner that gives them +1 offensive skill and +1 combat res. So that pushes them to 3 attacks, weapon skill 5, strength 6, AP 3.
no,
Luckily, go ahead.
no. So they start at a 5, right? They go to a. Oh no. Okay, so they go to a 6 because of the charge. They don't have paired weapons. Never mind. I thought they were going to get up to a 7. I was about to lose it there.
Oh, for 7 strength? No, not quite.
I thought they were going to get up to offense 7 with paired weapons for some reason, but
Oh.
but no, offense 6, strength 6, AP 3, resilience 5. These guys are scary.
I think it's only offensive 5, but
Oh yeah,
still,
you're right.
still
On the charge.
Yeah.
But
No,
still.
all the time, because the banner just gives it to them. Not only on the charge, but when they're charged as well.
It's the armor they get on the charge, right?
Correct.
They get 2-up armor save when charged. They also have Strider Ruins, so
Oh, nifty. Look at that.
it's a funny little thing. If there's ruins on your table, be careful.
Yeah.
And the monstrous, they get 3 supporting attacks, but that's all they need because they only got the 3 attacks.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 18 strength 6 AP 3 attacks when
I think-
they're.
I
Yeah.
think these guys need some impact hits, actually. What do you think? Maybe a D3 per model, I was thinking. I don't know.
Well, no, that's what the Infernal Engine is for.
Oh, yeah. Now, on to that, yeah.
It's got this thing is, I guess it's supposed to look like a train.
It's
kind
got
of
a
the feel I
handful
have
of
behind
rules. Yeah.
It's got the full steam ahead rule. It's got impact hits, grinding attacks, but the thing that we're really scared of is the shrapnel guns. These shrapnel guns have D6 plus 2 shots, strength 6, AP 3, and then they do multiple wounds D3
Yep.
with
My
18-inch range. It'll tear apart anything large or gigantic or
It's
anything
also
that has
got
multiple wounds.
quick to fire, so it can move and then shoot with no penalty.
Yeah, and it moves 6 inches,
Yeah.
so 24-inch threat range.
That's got a lot of damage potential right there. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah, don't let it shoot a good target. Overall, I think this army's got some hard stuff and some tricks.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not very big.
No, it is
Yeah.
not. Well, those anointed units are massive on the table.
They are. You can tell how big they are over here on the picture. You can see how big they are compared to like the Citadel Guard. But you do them 3 wounds and they start losing attacks right away.
Yep. All right. Anything else, guys?
Just real quick about the Infernal Engine, by the way, just in case all these other rules that we described before weren't enough to sell you on how terrifying this thing is. It's also unbreakable with 7 wounds at Resilience 7.
You're at a
So
3-up
just
save.
with 3-up armor save, yeah. So just in case you were wondering, like, oh, well, maybe I can just knock it out. Well, I don't know. Do you have a nuclear bomb? I don't know. It might not be so easy, but
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, no, dense army, but yeah. Small.
Get that Infernal Engine into a unit of block troops. It's only got D3 grinding attacks. Now, you won't kill it, but it'll take forever to kill you.
I think I just got like 3 dwarves that swing at you too. As
Yeah.
a crew member.
That's true, yes.
But that's
Never
about
forget
it.
the dwarves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
One
where the damage
attack,
comes in,
strength
guys.
3
One
each.
attack, strength
Hey.
3.
If you play Warhammer, you realize just exactly how important those attacks are, okay? That's where the damage really comes in. Saves your ass.
All right, that's
Just like the
Infernal
horses.
Dwarves for Joseph Abel.
Take it away, Cody.
Yeah, starting off, I've got my general. He is a Grail Duke, so he's got weapon skills of 7. He's got a magical lance that does devastating charge, D3 plus 1 wounds. He's got a 1-up save with a 5-up Aegis. He rerolls 1s to hit to wound and armor saves. He's got a 1-time plus 3 agility potion and the Virtue of Might, which when charging it gives an extra attack, an extra strength, an extra AP. But the cool thing about this one is that whenever you cause an unsaved wound, you get another round of attacks. You get 1 more round of attacks. New attacks cannot generate any further attacks.
Right.
This guy is built to take on just about any fighter out there.
It's like Red Fury from Vampires, you know? He's got the whole Red Fury thing going on. Which is really
Absolutely.
cool.
And one other little caveat to the Virtue of Might is that the unsaved wounds that generate additional attacks happen before the wounds are multiplied by the multiple wounds from the lance.
Yeah, so you can't blow up a bunch of wounds and then get more attacks than you started with.
Right.
I've got a damsel on a horse. She's a wizard master on Path of Druidism. She's got a magical heirloom, so she knows her extra spell. Gives her 6 spells to cast from.
Yep.
Which is kind of neat. And then Wafers of Penitence for some additional magic defense. Then I got a Paladin BSB on a Pegasus. He's flying around with the Peg Knights, and he's got the Virtue of Daring, which gives him and his unit maximized roll for their charge range rolls. And also anything that's fighting him, I have maximized charge range rolls to get into.
With your other units,
With
yeah.
other units, yep.
Right.
This is a really cool guy, and he's on a peg, joining the peg unit.
He's flexible. He can fly around, go where he needs to go. Then I got the Knights of the Realm. Big unit of core. This is the biggest one I've seen in these lists. This is 15 models strong once you join my damsel in with them. And they have the Banner of the Last Charge. So if they hit something, they do impact hits X, where X is the number of ranks they have. And right now they have 5 ranks, so each front model would do impact hits 5 at strength 4 AP1.
Yeah.
That's really tasty.
It is a train. I've got 2 units of heavy chaff, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I use them like that. They're
Heavy night chaff, yeah.
heavy night chaff. They're Knight's Aspirant. They hit hard when they charge because they've got devastating charge +1 attack, and so they get bonus attacks.
Oh no, it's +1 strength, right? +1 strength. Yeah.
No, it is devastating charge +1 attack on the knights, and then the war horses
nice.
have devastating charge +1 strength +1 AP.
Oh my God! Whoa.
And
I was looking at the wrong devastating charge.
I also have they also have lances, so that's +2 on the charge as well. So they're hitting 2 attacks, strength 5, AP2 when they charge.
So that's 10 attacks from the knights.
Yeah, 10 attacks from the knights, 5 attacks from the horses.
Which are strength 4 AP1. Nice.
They've got a lot of
They're
offense.
pretty heavy offense for only 5 knights.
Yeah, 270 points for 5 models.
Yeah.
And then to go around with the BSB, I got the Peg Knights.
Right.
They fly and move the same movements. It's just 816 no matter how you slice it. But they've got a 2-up armor save and the blessing. Hard target, and bought skirmish reform to make them that. And it gives them lots of flexibility.
Nice. You did not get Vanguard on them.
No, I did not. Then I'm bringing Grail Knights, because you got Grail Knights. I gave them the banner of Oriflamme, which means they cause fear, and anything touching them cannot benefit from rally around the flags. They don't get BSB rerolls. And that's a pretty hammer unit. That's normally where my general will go, probably, to turn that into a super hammer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I've got a Green Knight, who is just fun. We'll see him in other KoE lists here, too. Like, he's super popular.
Yeah. Well, he's really good for what he does.
Yeah,
he's a pretty cool model as well.
Yeah, he's stubborn when he's in range of the damsel. And he's got Ghost Step, so he can just move wherever. He causes terror, which can be useful against certain armies. And his offensive potential is just good. It's like 5 strength, 6 attacks, offensive 6, AP3. Agility 6.
With a 2-up armor and a blessing save.
His blessing's actually +1 because of his thrice blessed rule, so he has a 4-up ages most of the time. I think all of the time, actually.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and his horse is extra special.
He's got a Spectral Stallion.
1 strength 5 AP 2 on the charge attack.
Yep. Strength 4
Nice.
otherwise.
Cool.
So this is a very condensed list that is designed around hitting you in the face.
Yes.
Yes, it seems.
What's that coming down the track? Chugga, chugga, chugga.
Here comes Casey Jr.
All right.
I like it.
I like it. It's very one-dimensional.
It is very wonderful.
It's going to be a blast to play. It might not be that fun to play against.
Yeah.
But Cody's a blast. I love playing against him. And
yeah, it's a pretty simple list.
Yep.
I think with this kind of list, your games are going to be over one way or the other pretty quick, because you're just coming right at them. You don't have a lot of nuance in the other phases. Your magic's going to be very straightforward, and there's not a lot of shooting, so you're just kind of going for it here.
Yeah. I got to keep telling myself to not charge turn 2, I think. I think all the problems I've had with this list have come from premature charges. But it's so
except
tempting.
when you need to charge on turn 2.
Right. It's so tempting with the amount of charge range and strong charges that this army has.
Yep.
So.
You just got to weigh, what's at stake, right? Like, if I don't make this, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I made a long charge with the Grail Knights last game I played, and they got pinned because they didn't overrun far enough.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's just a random chance on that one, but
Those kind of things I got to watch out for.
it's I really like this list. And
it's a one-trick pony.
Yeah, ponies.
But it does
All
it
right.
really well.
Yeah.
Cody Mattson's Kingdoms of Equitane.
Okay, and next we have Daniel Arcaris, and he's bringing Kingdoms of Equitane as well. He's got first of all, he's got a Duke on a Hippogriff. We've seen this before. He's got his kit he's got this Wormwood core, which gives him a Strength 5 Flaming Breath attack, AP 0. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I've never seen that before, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful breath weapon.
Yeah.
The only problem is the AP 0.
Yeah, for sure. His shield, bear must reroll all natural to hit and wound rolls, and
armor saves
of 1. Yeah.
Of a 1.
So that's nice. Okay, cool item. Crown of the Wizard King. When I first saw that, I first of all, whenever I see Crown of the Wizard King, I love it. It's definitely interesting. I love doing random lores for sure. Some armies it has a huge impact on. But I never really would have thought Bretonnians would have been, Kingdoms of Equitane would have been one of those armies. But it's cool. And he's got the Agility Potion. He's also got that Virtue of Might, which gives him it's the Red Fury essentially. Every successful attack gives him another attack. And he's on a Hippogriff, so definitely a little bit of a solo cowboy, kind of doing some stuff. He's got some potential to beat some people up.
Imagine if he got shamanism and got scarification on that guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Sorry,
it kind of depends on that the crown.
Yeah.
It can do absolutely nothing, or it can change the game.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, he gets occultism, and he's like, "Oh, gotta kill knights now."
I feel this is awkward. Oh my god.
I think they still get their word save against it, but maybe not. I don't know. I'd have to go back and read that.
He could get
ridiculous.
The things he could get. That's fun,
Yeah, it's a fun thing, even if it's not very effective. So I can't seem to find what he is marked. Or what his
virtue is just normal. He's not Grail or questing.
Okay.
He is the
so he's just got the blessing save. It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, he's got Oath of Fealty, so he's got a 6-up blessing that goes up to a 5-up against Strength 5 or more.
And he's only got a 3-up armor, and he rerolls ones.
Yeah.
So he does have 4 hit points, resilience 5.
I didn't realize only armor 3. Yeah, well, I guess if you're going to be a Wizard King, you got to pay for it somehow, right? Well, anyway.
Isn't the Hippogriff a large mount?
Yeah, so he's large cavalry.
So it takes the armor save of the Duke. You could have gotten that armor down to a 2.
Easily.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's Brett's, right?
Just Basalt Infusion.
Yeah, would have done it.
Anyway. So he's also got a Damsel using Druidism and Wafers of Penitence. So, dispel security there.
Yep, it was similar to Cody's list. He just got the spell in a different way, the bonus spell. Instead of the hereditary, he could grab the crown.
Yeah, it's just a Druidism wizard on a barded horse. Yep. Paladin, he's got the Hero's Heart and the Virtue of Renown. So when he's got lethals, and when he rolls a 6, he gets multi-wounds D3. So sort of like a little bit of a mini hero, hammer hero, kind of can potentially pull out some wounds.
It's kind of weird. The Hero's Heart is hand weapon only, but it makes it like he is charging every round almost with a light lance. So it pushes him up to strength 5 and AP 3.
It's good for grinding, I guess, helps for that, for sure. Then we got 11 Knights of the Realm. They've got an Aether icon, which gives them magic resistance 1.
And other than that, they've just got a full command. So
Probably have the damsel with him to push into magic resistance
Yep.
too.
yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Which is
Then
cool.
we've got 3 units. Yeah, for sure. We've got 3 units of 6 Knights of the Realm, and one of them doesn't have a champion, but otherwise, musicians on all of them, so they have that freeform maneuverability at least. But one of them doesn't have a champ. But other than that, yeah, 3 units of 6. I guess just kind of little dart units. Could
really
be
good on the
chaff.
charge.
Yeah, really just kind of like little mini hitters, little seeker
Mhm.
missiles. I think it's cool. 9 questing knights. Questing knights are the ones that have the bastard swords, right? So they can be used as halberds or as
They're great weapons. They
Great
can Use
weapons.
a shield with them.
right. So that's pretty cool.
So
Good
they
for
keep-
grinding
they
as
keep
well.
their 2-up armor save, but go to strength 5 all the time.
Right.
Oh, is it strength 5? It's not a great weapon?
Oh no, I think they are strength 6 all the time. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So just heavy hitters with armor. So good. And again, knights that can fight in prolonged combat, which is another theme I'm seeing there for sure. Yep. 8 Grail Knights with a Stalker standard gives them Strider, so that makes it so that they can, not only avoid dangerous terrain from certain terrain, but also retain their ranks in forests and ruins and things like that, water even.
And this is
And
where the
this-
Grail Paladin is going with the hero's
Yep.
heart.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And to round it out, we got 3 Peg Knights
Yes.
with a champ.
He did buy
He-
Vanguard and Skirmisher.
Yep. So they're moving forward. These are pretty heavy chaff. Maybe they'll be using those as, well, probably not chaff, but more machine hunting and
and
flanks
enemy
and rears.
chaff hunting as well, because he doesn't have a lot of shooting, so this is probably how he wants to deal with opponent chaff.
Yep.
One of the better ways he could do that.
In addition to those realms.
His general's got 2 magic missiles. Don't you know this? Fireball and Blaze.
Oh, well, could be.
And the
Or he
Worm
could
Core
get-
Lance.
He'd get cosmology and get a fire and ice.
Yep.
Man.
Lots
and
of
then
options.
truth of time, and then he's re-rolling his maximized charge rules. And then what happens,
The Crown of the Wizard King is no end to the fun. I can tell you that much. This list
So-
has a lot of knights. Like, a
Yep.
lot of knights.
I think it was 6 units in addition to the Peg Knights.
Right.
So we've been going through this, and yep, we noticed it's a great list. It's a lot of fun. There's one thing that we're not happy with.
Yes.
The Paladin is not a BSB,
Bum, bum, bum.
so he doesn't have the rerolls for when you lose combat. Now that may not make a difference, but in general, a lot of the time you want him with KoE.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's having rerolls, break tests, panic tests, any kind of discipline test that's gonna matter. He's 10 points under, so really it's just there's no reason not to just maybe drop one knight off of one of these 6-man units and then just make yourself a battle standard bearer.
How much is overclocked?
Unless I'm mistaken, it's not like he's capped on character points, right? Let's just look
No,
at
he's
this
still
again.
got 380 character points
Yeah.
left.
Right. So
He is
And he's not
over-
minimum core, is he?
No, he's over by 300 points over core.
So
yeah.
I don't know if it was just a mistake or just
Find the
thought he had
points.
it. You can find the points.
Yeah,
Um,
we can figure out how to find
maybe he just doesn't think he needs it. I mean, if you're winning all your combats, a BSB is wasted points. just make all your rolls, right?
All right.
Well, if you're winning all your bets at the casino, then having a savings account's useless, right?
Right. All right,
So-
Daniel Arcaris, Kingdoms of Equitaine.
All right, we've got another Kingdom of Equitaine list from Daniel.
So many
McCallum.
horses. My God.
He took the list in a different direction a little bit.
But
He still has the Duke on the Hippogriff,
Yes.
but this guy has he's a Grail Duke, so his weapon skill's 7 for both of them. He's got the Fortress of Faith, so he rerolls hit and wounds and armor saves of 1. But then he also has the Black Knight's Tabard, and what this does is when he would be reduced to 0 health points, you don't remove him. Instead, all of those stuff hits him, he does get removed, and then he gets 1 wound back, 1 health point back, and an Aegis 3 up until the end of that player's turn.
Oh my.
So he's
He can't be killed in one shot.
yeah, he can't be killed in 1 hit.
I hope this guy has druidism.
He does not have druidism.
What?
Yeah, he's
Yep.
got a paladin on a Pegasus for his other flying character.
Dueling Duke.
He's got the Virtue of Valor, which means he must always issue a duel, and the duel must always be accepted. And when he's in a duel, he gets to reroll all failed to hit and wound rolls. In addition, he's got the Tristan's Resolve Sword. This one, after a successful to hit roll, you get to discard one of your hits and destroy the weapon enchantment carried by the model the attack was allocated towards.
Oh,
Which
wow.
is really, really cool.
So he breaks other people's magic weapons and turns them mundane.
I
Oh, wow.
really like
Yeah.
this guy. The only problem is that he doesn't have the swiftness potion, so he's limited to agility 5, 6 on the charge.
Oh yeah, swiftness potion would be pretty nice here.
So, yep, a lot of the weapons that you're going to want to destroy come on big, beefy characters that might kill you before you get to attack.
And he's 10 points under the list. No, I'm just kidding.
No, this guy's actually 30 points over at the moment. He's
Well,
got
how does that work, by the way, that he's got 30 points extra?
it's something
He's
that Mike's
coordinating with Mike.
Yeah, he's
I don't know.
talking with Mike about how to fix his list. So
I see. Okay. Well,
it will be
best
fixed
of luck to him on that.
by,
I mean, it might just be like dropping a knight.
Hope so, yeah.
I would say that he wouldn't be able to customize his list anymore, like submit a completely different one. But if he's just like removing 1 knight here and adding 5 peasant levy or something, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. Okay.
And then
Then he's got the damsel.
yeah, Wizard Master on
Oh
the
no,
Warhorse.
we skipped a paladin. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, we skipped the BSB. This guy makes the unit that he's in have really good ward saves. So he's got a 4-up ward save, Aegis save, and his entire unit will have 1 ward Aegis better than normal up to a maximum of a 5-up, which normally means they just always have a 5-up.
Nice.
So he goes into a unit and makes it pretty tanky.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Very cool.
And he's hard to remove because he's got the 2-up armor, 4-up ward.
Yeah, and he's a BSB, so that's
Mhm.
nice. And
Yep.
then there's a Damsel Master on a Warhorse on Shamanism, so we're looking at aggressive spells and dangerous terrain spells and a little bit of buffing.
A little bit of
Yeah.
everything. It's pretty good. He's also got the ability to summon that little beastie,
Yeah, what
which
if
is
we
kind of cool.
take that.
I don't know. We'll see what he wants to take.
Yeah, then 2 units in 9 Knights of the Realm. These are just standard core, basically.
Right.
They've got 45 Peasant Levy
Which
Oh.
might go horde.
with halberds. Yeah, they might go Horde formation because they probably have the Sacred Reliquary with them,
Mhm.
which gives them Holy Fervor.
Which means that a unit joined by the reliquary gets fight in an extra rank, and all friendly units that are engaged in the same combat as the reliquary gain +1 armor. So that affects knight units that are just engaged in the same combat.
Yeah, so those knights we put
It's
down
pretty
the 1-up
cool.
Save.
Yep.
So
That
2+
is
save.
very cool, actually.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the reliquary when we get there. And then these are halberdiers, so
yeah, strength 4.
strength 4 if you want to.
I really
With-
like this. Yeah.
With fight in 4 ranks if they're in horde.
I think
Um,
this is awesome, to be honest. I don't see a lot of Kingdoms of Equitane players bringing large peasant levy units, but if you're going to, I think having a reliquary is a good way to do that. And I, for one, am really curious to see how this unit performs throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got shamanism for the +1 strength, +1 AP on
Oh, yeah.
the levy.
That's true.
All of a sudden he's
it's-
got 40 or no 20, 32 strength 5
Yep.
hits coming out of that thing.
Well, not necessarily because of the reliquary taking up some of those, but
We'll
Yeah,
say a lot.
It has 4 attacks on its own, so.
it has a lot. We'll just leave it at that.
Right, the reliquary
Um,
has its own attacks even, for sure.
Then we've got 2 units of peasant crossbowmen. Pay the extra couple points and get crossbows instead of bows. They have the stakes as well,
Yeah, they come
so
with
you don't
terrain.
get charge bonuses when you charge them. They're always defending terrain, right?
So is that 30-inch range still? Or 24?
Should be
Crossbows are range 30.
strength 4, AP 1.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they're unwieldy. Bows aren't unwieldy, so you can move it a -1.
Yeah, but you're
Sure.
just defending the stakes.
Yeah.
Initial deployment will be the key to these guys.
I think, yeah.
They're good. They also
I-
score, which is important.
Yep.
Yeah, I think these are great, honestly. I love it.
And then we've got a Grail Dart. 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grail
Ouch.
Dart. Just,
Six wounds for almost 500 points.
Oh, man. Yeah, and no druidism, so it's like,
Nope. Yep. You kill them, they stay dead.
They stay dead.
yeah.
All right.
He does have the Green Knight again, this
Yep.
guy.
Second Green Knight,
Good old Green Knight.
Green Knight number 2.
and then the Reliquary.
Yeah.
We touched on this a little bit earlier. I think it's really cool. It's a war platform. It's got the blessing. It's got a 3-up to shooting and a 2-up in close combat. It's kind of a mini chariot where it does some impact hits as well.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's a handful of rules on a small point unit. I mean, it's only 150 points for all the stuff it brings. It's really good.
Yes.
Similar to the Empire list, I think that this list will depend on its buffs.
Shamanism's got to come in big.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's got a few buffs here and there. You've got the Paladin, the BSB that makes one knight unit a little tougher. You've got the Damsel with Shamanism, can do a bunch of different spells on different units, both buffs and debuffs. A bunch of small units. It'll be interesting how this one plays. I don't know how well that levy of halberdiers plus the reliquary is really going to do.
What's
I
that?
mean,
535 point unit with the reliquary in there.
that's pretty
Man.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 500 and some odd points, I think there's a lot of units that could stack up against equal points pretty dang well.
And have this come out on top, even without
Yeah.
buffs.
Yeah, exactly.
So the peasant levy has a 5-up for shooting and a 5-up in close combat. So we'll see. I'm interested. I want to see how this one plays out. Although Daniel's got to work with Mike to figure out his points.
Right. Something's going to have to give. But he's over on core, so just going to have to take out some core here.
Sure. Drop a
knight.
5 peasants.
Yeah, drop a few peasants.
30
Yeah.
points, 5 pheasants. All right. So that's Daniel McCallum on Kingdoms of Aquitaine.
All right, and the last Kingdoms of Aquitaine, Gabe Thorn. We've got another slightly different list than all the others. We've got the Questing Duke on a hippo.
Seems to be a universal thing.
Yeah, what was it? 3 of the 4 lists
Yeah,
had hippogriffs?
Hippos.
Anyway, this is different than the other 2. He's much more similar to Cody's Death Duke. He's got Divine Judgment, which gives him multiple wounds, D3 plus 1 on the charge. He's got Uther's Conviction for bonus Aegis.
And armor.
So when you hit him with like a bolt from a bolt thrower, he goes to a 4-up ward. Virtue of Might, same as the other 2 that had it, for the extra attacks, for unsaved wounds. It's kind of a good balance between a little bit of everything. He's pretty tough, but he's on the hippogriff for maximum killiness.
Yeah, and he's also got a bastard sword, so he can switch to that, and then second and subsequent rounds, or if he's not charging, because the lance is useless when you're not charging.
Right. That's a good balance there too.
That's very good, yeah.
Paladin BSB, pretty much naked. He's just a standard.
Yeah, he's just a BSB.
He's a Grail Paladin, though, guys. He's a
He
Grail
is.
Paladin.
He is a Grail. Does that
weapon
automatically
skill 6.
push his blessing down to a 5-up?
It does, and
Automatic.
and it gives him +1 offensive defense skills.
Right.
So he's a 6/6 instead of a 5/5.
5s.
Everyone knows the ladies love a Grail Knight.
Yep. No magic items, though. And then we've got a Master Damsel on Druidism on a unicorn.
Yep.
Now, if anybody doesn't know Gabe, he is a master painter, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this army.
Oh yeah. I have played Gabe in person. He lives here in Colorado, and he's definitely he's got some amazing painting talent. It's a wonderful time to play him always.
And he's got another damsel on shamanism. This one is an apprentice, so it just knows that #1 spell. But that spell is very good for the +1 strength or +1 toughness.
Also gives the unit magic resist, so pumps up the saves.
Yeah, worth for sure.
We've got another train, not quite as long as mine, but this train would hit you with 12 impact hits at full
12
strength.
initially. Yep.
And that's pretty nasty still.
Yeah. Just a big smash unit, yeah.
He'll put one of the damsels in here. I don't know if it's the master or the other one, but
Right. He's got one of those knight chaff units.
Yep.
250 points for the heavy chaff.
he brought a champion too, so they hit a little harder than mine. Peasant Crusaders. These guys are really interesting. They also have Impetuous, which is what the Knights Aspirant have. Gives them plus to charge range when they're charging things that cause fear or terror.
Mm-hmm. They also have Hatred and Devastating Charge of +1 attack. So it's a...
on top of paired weapons, so it's a lot.
Oh, he brought paired weapons or shields?
Oh, maybe they have shields. Actually.
Shields. But he brought the Rending Banner.
They can take paired weapons.
They fight an extra rank because of the Reliquary, right?
Reliquary gives you fight an extra rank, yep.
Yep.
And a bonus armor save, so they'll have a 4-up save. And then they used to get the blessing with the Reliquary. I'm unsure. I don't think it transfers anymore.
No, the Reliquary has it, but the Peasant Crusaders, I don't believe, get it.
Yeah.
But they do have Bodyguard on the Sacred Reliquary, so they are stubborn.
They're stubborn until one of those two things goes away. Either all of the Crusaders or the Reliquary. We've got Crossbowmen, another 15 strong unit.
Yep.
Really good. Scoring brings terrain to the table. Like here's a wall.
He's got a fast cav unit of human outriders.
Bottom bows too.
Bottom bows and spears, light lances.
Yep. So they're as strong as yeoman can get, really.
He got a Grail unit, fairly small, only 5.
Yeah.
But he pushed their ward save versus shooting, and magic, down to a 4-up.
Yep.
And enemies can't stand and shoot.
You can't stand and shoot them. Yeah, these guys are shooter hunters.
Yep.
These guys are trying to charge down the Queen's Guard and units like that.
Right.
Yep.
The Infernal Guard, right, with the flintlocks.
Yep.
He's bringing 1 Treb. So this is the first
2 Trebs. No, just 1 Treb.
First war machine in Brits that we've seen. And then he also has the Green Knight, similar to 2 other Brit lists.
Good old Green Knight.
Yep. So really,
over here.
This list is going to show off everything that Gabe has. It's really just like one of everything. Except for damsels. He's got 2 damsels.
He's missing the unit of questing knights, but he's got a questing lord. So he's got every virtue. He's got almost every kind of knight except for peg knights. You know, but he still has a flyer.
It's kind of cool.
He's got the reliquary to give him good armor saves and extra rank fighting and all that stuff. So
I think it's a very good list. I like it a lot.
Yep, it's very well balanced.
and that's what we got to say about Gabe's Kingdom of Equitane. I think we're done with Kingdom of Equitane now.